Hi, are we on the air? Okay. Hi, my name is Kim. I'm sure many of you are familiar who I am. So thank you again for joining us live tonight. Tonight we are very honored to have two very special guests. They are also my mentor and my our supporter. To the far left is Mr. Ravinder Singh from Hannover. Then in the middle, sitting in the middle, is our goalkeeper, Dr. Kamal. Yeah. So let me just start by talking. Maybe we just get Ravinder introduce himself a little bit, and then as we go through, and then we explain what we do. Ravinder, maybe you can start introducing a bit of your own background, and then talk about Hannover.
Okay. Good evening. As Gim said, I'm Ravinder. I'm a reinsurer now for 30 years. I've been lucky enough to have worked with some of the best reinsurance companies in the world. I worked in London, in Amsterdam, in Zurich, in Singapore, Malaysia. First part of my career was with Swiss Re, and now I work with a German reinsurer called Hannover Re. We are among the top 3 in the world. We have a premium income of close to $20 billion US. Insurance companies, reinsurance companies insure insurance companies, and we support them, and we also play a role in getting affordable life insurance to all consumers. And the office that I work in, I head the life and health team. We are a regional office, so we look after 15 countries, the countries in ASEAN and India subcontinent as well.
Oh, so thank you. I mean, actually, we are having a very senior guy from Hannover to join us. I mean, it's so late, and in fact, today it is okay, right? Today I can say something special about Mr. Ravinder. Today is actually his birthday, so it's so nice for him to spend his birthday evening to be with us. So it's such an honor. Thank you, Mr. Ravinder. In the middle is Dr. Kamal. Dr. Kamal is our gatekeeper. Dr. Kamal is our professional medical auditor. He runs a firm. So why don't I leave it to Dr. Kamal to introduce himself.
Good evening. I'm Kamalanathan, Dr. Kamalanathan. I worked as a doctor for the last more than 40 years actually. And I've been on both sides, the hospital side, the clinic side, and now I'm checking bills of doctors. And more importantly, we look at whether the treatment is necessary or not, whether the surgical procedure is necessary or not, because you only have one body. You don't have 2 bodies. That one body is scarred. It's for life. So I take it upon my responsibility to make sure that whatever surgery is done is absolutely necessary. So we will give you our ideas and our opinions. If you choose to go for surgery, then it is your choice. We do not stop you. But we try to do what we can to make sure that the treatment provided to you is appropriate and within the affordable costs. That's my basic job.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. I think Doctor has been very, very supportive. Before I forget, I mean, for those people who are on air now, please share, please invite your friends to come and watch this. It's not so often that I can get 2 giants sitting with us. They are 2 play very important roles in terms of our platform. Let me just take a step back and explain a little bit for those people who are new to us in terms of explaining what life engineering is all about. We essentially is a technologically enabled platform. So technologically enabled means you can access through web or through app in today's world. So everybody has a smartphone or you have a computer, you can access our platform. And the platform actually gathers people together to do one thing, to share the medical costs. So one thing important is that we share is inpatient medical costs. Inpatient meaning only when you're hospitalized. Why we only focus on inpatient is because that is the most important. That's the most important and largest chunk of cost that when you are sick. So for example, most of the medical bill, 70-80% of it is coming in the inpatient cost, right? So we share the medical cost. So a good example, a simple example is, for example, if we have a 10,000 sharer base and the cost for that month come out to be 100,000, you take 100,000 share among 10,000 sharers, it works out to be 10 ringgit per person, right? So it's as simple as that. There's no added cost involved in it. the whole process will involve doctor, in the sense that when a sharer, or when we call it member in most of cases, admitted to hospital, they'll go through our doctor's 24-hour calling center. You can get access to it, and you can get access to over 200 hospitals that we have throughout the system. Then the doctor will give you the right advice, and then going through a proper admission process, and so that you can get treated, right? And then further later we'll talk a little about more. Ravinder will explain about how Hannover Re and the reinsurers will come and help us to manage the risk of this whole process. Okay, so this is basically about us in terms of crowd sharing. But a lot of people say, does this model work? And I would like to just share two examples. Both this platform is not new. It's about a year old in China. And one platform that I want to give example is that they have about 7 million people. And then what happened is that this is the October number. It's a little bit old. Later I'll share a little bit with another new number. It's the October number. For 2 weeks, they shared the medical cost was 1.4 million. So if you take 1.4 million and you divide it by 7 million, how much is that? It's only 20 cents. Imagine everybody just chip in 20 cents. It allows to help to share the medical cost, the bulk of the medical cost. And another more recent example that just happened last month in February. It's another platform in China. They have about 12 million sharers. They incur a cost of about 10 million. So what happened is that it basically worked out to be how much? Less than 1 renminbi. So it's about 80 cents renminbi. So it is amazing. 10 million. If I tell you it's 10 million medical costs, everybody will be running away. But once we get a crowd together, it will work. So please, for those people who are online, share this, like us, share our view, share our FB Live, or save it. You can watch it later. And by the way, we have a Google link on top. If you're interested to know more about us, fill in your contact, and then we'll get in touch with you. Okay. So let me continue with today's session, and maybe let's start with Mr. Ravinder. Just Mr. Ravinder, could you explain why you personally, as well as Hannover Re, is so supportive of this idea of life engineering?
Basically, what happened, what caused this was 11 years ago. I met in an accident on the Sprint Highway going home from work. I almost died. One person died, and another 9 were seriously injured, and I was one of them. I had 80 stitches. A car hit me while I was outside, and I was lucky to survive. I was 1 feet away from the guy who died, and if the accident was half a second earlier, I wouldn't be here today. In fact, actually, the accident happened on my birthday, so it's exactly 11 years today.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
oh God! This is a bit scary. I didn't know that.
Too much of coincidence.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was the turning point in my life, and I felt that there was a reason why I survived that accident, and I made it my purpose in life then to add value to consumers and to people. So from that day, I've been thinking almost every minute of the day on what were the pain points of people in the insurance industry. First, I started with life insurance, which is much easier, and I saw the pain points where the products were very expensive, not simple, very complicated, and the buying process was very long. And that's when I created a company called U4Life, u4life.com.my, that offers life insurance from 10 ringgit a month. And that partly addressed the issues of life insurance. Then I looked into medical insurance, and I put a consumer hat on, and I looked at what the pain points were. And the clear one that came up was the fact that medical inflation in Malaysia, and this is a figure that come up from Bank Negara, medical inflation is 15%.
But what does 15% means to an average person?
What it means is that every 5 years your medical cost will double, and every 10 years it increases by 4 times. Yeah. So if today if you're unlucky and you have cancer and the treatment cost is 100,000, in 10 years it's going to be 400,000.
Oh my God.
And most Malaysians will not be able to afford it, and that's only 10 years. Yeah, never mind 15, 20, and further on. So really, when I look at this, the deeper I went, the more worried I got, because nobody was doing anything. The Ministry of Health wasn't doing anything. Insurance companies were struggling with the business that they had already, and Bank Negara felt it was not in their area of responsibility to address this. They had other duties to do. So really, I thought long and deep on this, and I figure out that the only way to solve this is to change consumer behavior, and through peer-to-peer platform. And by chance, after working on this concept for 1.5 years, I met you, Gim, by total chance. A friend put us together, and I saw that, while I was at 20% in my dream of creating this company, you were already at 70%. So then I humbly went to you and I said, please, can we join forces? And because I'm not driven by income, but by the outcome to try to solve this problem. So from that day, I think, I really salute you for getting to 70%, because if I didn't find you, it would have taken me probably 6 or 7 years to get to where you were. So you helped me speed up the process. And here today, we try to, add real consumer value to the whole process of medical costs.
No, I think Ravinder is very, very kind to say this, but I think he, Hannover and as well as Ravinder has given a lot of help. I think giving us a lot of ideas in terms of how to get this done. I think the most important, the last piece, probably if I could just borrow the 70% that Ravinder talked about, the balance of 30% come from the club, comes from all of you guys to share this idea with the rest. So what you can do is just share this FB Live currently, or you tag your friends, you just share it and tag your friends, so that as more people know about it, only this program will work. Like just now the example that we talk about. So I think it's very important that I think it's so nice when me and Gideon, our founder, together met up with Ravinder. We just think that this is just God sent. Somehow this thing just clicked and it come together because somebody that loved this, and of course with the things that had happened to Ravinder previously, and it's just making an amazing story. And today I just found out that it's his birthday, and sometimes 11 years ago something such a horrible thing happened to him 11 years ago, and today we are all sitting together. Maybe I can turn this question also to Doctor. Doctor is a person with a very strong mission, and I know that I think not many people especially in the medical industry, maybe just not the right way, maybe Doctor can put it a better way, that really like his determination in terms of getting this right, because medical is very important to us, and then we have to get this right. And so rather than just go blindly and let this happen, Doctor, maybe you just explain why are you so supportive of life engineering? I mean, Doctor is one of the few that when we first started, has agreed to help us, even though we are just at an infancy. So on behalf of the whole team, we want to thank Doctor for that.
Thank you, Gim. I want to support what Ravinder has said on the cost. If I remember correctly, in 1984-85, an appendicectomy used to cost 800 ringgit to 1,000 ringgit. And that was performed by one of the senior-most surgeons in the country at that time, Tan Sri Majid. And Tan Sri Majid used to be a former Director General of Health. He was the most expensive surgeon. Others used to charge about 600 or 700. Then by the 1990s, it became something like 2,000, 3,000. Today, doctors are charging 20,000 plus. So can you see how much it has increased? But has the quality of service improved? No. It has not. It's the same appendix, it's the same body, except that now they do through laparoscopy, and laparoscopy tools are very expensive. Yeah. And that is why the cost has gone up. Whether it's necessary, I don't know. Because I also know that many housemen start doing appendicectomy when we are in our training days. But things have gone up so much. So you're right, it's doubling every 5 years. But is 1,000 doubling every 5 years for 30 years? 6 times. It should be 6,000. I don't know. More than that.
Yeah. The cost is a bit scary. And then I think the hospital procedures, I recently encountered personal experience is that somebody has a prostate cancer, and what happened is that the doctor basically tell me that they don't do the normal open surgery. They do either you do a robotic or you do a radiography treatment. So you get the robotic is costing like 40,000-50,000 or more. So you choose a 40,000-50,000 route, or you do a radiotherapy, which also costs you about almost 30,000. So either way, it's expensive, and it's just some doctors don't do the traditional open surgery anymore. So I think it's just mind-boggling when it comes to how the cost has escalated. So I think I think we all shared the same mission in terms of that the cost is continuing to go up. And the only thing we can address the cost is through a few fold. I mean, there's one thing what life engineering is. First is to share the cost. I mean, when we come together, the power of the crowd, the power of the many will lower the burden on each other. Two is, I think, maybe later we can talk about it, is that we have to improve our lifestyle, improve how we look at our living, because we can't continue to share the cost, because the cost will only go up because of technology, because of inflation, but more importantly, we've got to go more onto the prevention. This is another mission that often or not one of the mission that for life engineering we are focusing on. Okay?
Can I add something?
Sure, doctor.
So one of the things also is that there are more diagnostic tools, more modern equipment, and more tests that are being done to identify diseases. One of the grave points of these diagnostic tools is that some of the things that we did not see before are being seen now. Sometimes there are some changes in the MRI scans or CT scans which are actually benign. They may not harm you. They may not progress to become worse. But now they are identified. And somebody wants to do the surgery on that.
Yeah.
The surgery may not be necessary. That small slip disc or whatever may not worsen over 10 years or 20 years. In the past it was not done. But now somebody wants to do the surgery. Whether it is useful, I don't know. We can't say that, whether it's useful or not. The second thing that I want to emphasize on is, if there is a large crowd base, then we can make extra efforts to identify how to make lifestyle changes like what you said. Your eating habits, and we can also work on what kind of foods are actually are causing these diseases. It is absolutely important, because once you get a disease, you are no more at ease, you are diseased. The ideal thing would be to remain very healthy, and that can be done only through lifestyle changes, exercises, eating the right kind of food, right kind of mental status, and this will be very easily done if there is a large crowd.
Yes.
A large crowd who are going to share their ideas.
Yeah.
Now through networking we can share all these things instantly.
Yeah. Now with the technology you can share. I mean, important is that everybody pull together, and then I think it's also good that it's a movement. Like I said, a lot of people taking vegetables more, exercise more. I think these are the things that we are a lot more aware of what we eat. We are also aware of what goes into our food. Okay. Well, Ravinder, any other issue you think that in the medical or healthcare industries that we are facing that come to your mind, besides the cost escalation and all that?
I think also there need to be more transparency. There are some neighboring countries where private hospitals already publish their charges for common surgeries and treatments. Everything we buy today, we look at the price before. The restaurant, we have a menu. We see the price of the menu. We know what we order, roughly what the price will be. You see a nice shirt or a suit, you know the price before you take it to the till, before you pay. But when you go for medical treatment, you don't know the price. It's a black box.
Yeah.
So I really want consumers to start questioning. Also there should be regulation for hospitals and doctors to disclose their charges when you make the appointment, so you know beforehand how much it's going to cost. And then you can make sure that you get the treatment that you feel matches that, because if you just leave it to the industry,
open-ended.
if you look at the airlines industry, we all know there are more and more low-cost carriers coming into the market. Yet, MAVCOM, the Malaysia Aviation Commission, has been in the news the last 2 days. They are not happy with the charges of domestic flights.
Oh.
A flight from Peninsular Malaysia to Sabah normally would cost 160 ringgit. But during peak periods like festivals, they go up to 800 and 1,000.
Yeah.
So
it's ridiculous. Right?
So they are coming in and they think this is unfair to the consumer, and they are coming in to put a cap. They're going to put a cap that they feel is reasonable. It allows the industry to make a reasonable margin, yet it doesn't burden the consumer.
Right.
But I want to know why we're not doing anything for medical costs. The consumer goes to the hospital. At the time when he's in hospital, he has a problem. He's not in the best state mentally, and I believe he's taken advantage of.
Yep.
Whether it's treatment that is necessary, whether it's duplicated testing, whether being kept longer than necessary. So the whole process, there must be a check and balance, and there's nobody looking at this today. And I hope a setup like Life Engineering will start to bring up these issues to the forefront as we share the costs and we compare and we share good stories of hospital treatments and physicians that are caring to the consumer. We start to do all of this, that we bring in the best practice, to the benefit of consumers.
Yeah, I think awareness is probably the key word. I think a lot of us, even though with today's technology, we have a lot of information you can Google, but it's very hard for you to Google a cost of doing certain operations. I don't think you can Google that as much in terms of accuracy, because this has been traditionally something that you don't really know. And I think awareness is very key for us to know what needs to be done, what should be done, and so that we don't incur unnecessary stuff. Doctor, in this aspect, anything? I know that every time we talk about medical issues or problems that we face in medical industry or healthcare industry, you probably can spend a whole day with me.
Well, I'm very happy that Ravinder has brought all these matters up. These are also very close to me, and things that I have also pondered about very much. Now, when you go to the hospital, especially for a surgical problem, there is no conservative management. They straight away want to operate on you. Because conservative management is something that will be least harmful to the body. And there is no cooling off period. Like when you buy other things, there is a cooling off period.
Here, once you're cut, right?
Yeah. Here, they will immediately tell you, look, if you want to get well quickly, we'll have to do this surgery, and that's it. Or sometimes a patient has just some gastric pain, probably for 2 weeks or 1 week. I've had even 3 days, and they want to do a scope.
Yeah.
They don't look at the history of what food you take, they don't find out what are the foods that are causing this problem, ask you to change the diet, because a lot of times it's the food that is causing the problem.
But Dr. Why is doing that? Is it because the investment cost that the hospital is facing that's causing this thing that people are forcing people to being introduced to do through all these treatments and tests?
I think today it's all return of investment, because many of the hospitals are run by businessmen and they want to get a return of investment, and therefore they are driven to provide services that gives the best returns. If you look at the NHS, even to get an appointment with a GP takes you about 3 days or 4 days, and to get a surgery done, it takes 6 days. 6 months, not 6 days, 6 months.
You're talking about General Hospital.
In NHS, in the UK.
In the UK,
NHS.
Okay. Yeah.
Here, a doctor wants to do the surgery immediately.
That's happened to me too.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
It's
not that I have not worked in hospitals. I worked in General Hospital Kuala Lumpur for 5 years, in orthopedics, in neurosurgery, in general surgery. I've seen all these cases before, and there is no need to rush in many of the instances. But I think that people are made to feel that if these procedures are not done, something serious will happen to them.
Yeah.
So they become fearful, and then they want the surgery to be done immediately. Of course, there are so many surgeries that need to be done instantaneously if possible, especially like there is some hemorrhage into the brain, or there is some kind of a serious tumor in the brain. It has to be done immediately. But those are only a smaller number of cases. The larger number of cases that are being done are not for emergencies, but made to look like emergencies.
But I guess because for us, a layman, I mean, we trust ourselves to the hospital, to the doctors in terms of what we want to. I think the only way we can do this better is we have more awareness. We know what we should do when you have certain situation. I think this leads us to a good question in terms of the role of EMAS, the company that doctor runs, in terms of how did we help the sharers. I mean, one of the things called second opinion, right? Second opinion that we can arrange to have, because it's very important. Many of times when we have this situation happens to our loved ones, we also don't know whom to turn to ask for opinion. And doctor, you want to just comment a little bit about it, if you
Yes,
may?
Second opinion is absolutely important, because I can tell you one of my close friends, he had what we call as a lymphoma in the stomach. And one doctor said, must do operation immediately. This was about 12 years ago or 15 years ago. 15 years ago, he said, you must do the operation immediately. But someone in the same department told me, look, I mean, in the same surgical department, it's exactly the surgical department where I worked before. He said, look, there is an alternative treatment to this with chemotherapy, and you may not need to do surgery, because both the procedures are producing the same results. So why don't you take the option of chemotherapy? And you can achieve a cure rate which is equivalent to the surgery. Once the surgery is done, where your stomach is taken out, you can't eat because there's no stomach to hold the food. So this patient opted to do the chemotherapy. He's very well till today. And it doesn't mean that if you take out the stomach, he is going to be completely cured, because the cure rate is the same for both.
Yeah.
So patients must try to find out, either through their doctors or through their second opinion, what treatment is best for them at that time.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, knowledge is king. I mean, if you know what to do, that is better. You get better informed. You make a better informed decisions. I think, and one of the things that we can arrange through EMAS is to do that. So effectively, maybe I just fill in a little bit in terms of the role of EMAS in this case. Is that basically they handle the entire administration process. EMAS has been in the industry for very long. Doctor has over 20 years of experience in this business, and effectively they manage. Why is it important? It's because that protect the interests of all the sharer. Because you contribute to the case, we'll make sure that only the right treatments are being done, rather than we have gone through this whole inflation or unnecessary treatment that we have. But the only to make it work is that through education, through knowledge, the sharer understanding the process they're going through. We are managed professionally through email. They have a 24-hour customer service center to handle your admission, your request, so that this thing will be the interest of everybody. So my team is asking me to make sure that you share this thing and tag along, because it's not often to have Doctor and Ravinder coming out at the same time. Tag and share if you can. In fact, I just now apologize for looking at my phone just now, because I was getting somebody text me as I said that just watch me live on Facebook. So if I can just ask everybody to do one thing, just pause for 10 seconds, share it, and then share it to your friend, tag your friend, so that we can increase the number of viewers, so that we can share this with everybody. Feel free to type in the questions you have. Don't have to wait until the end, So share it and press the like. Ravinder, would you any other things that you would like to add before we maybe get you to talk a little bit more about exactly how reinsurer work, and then in this particular instance, how does reinsurer work with us in life engineering?
I just before I go and talk about a reinsurance company, I would say I will second what Doctor said about keeping healthy. We have only one life. Yeah, if you are lucky enough to live to 80 years old, you may have 10 cars in your life. Yeah, I'm 52. I'm on my 5th car. So if I'm lucky to live to 80, I'll probably get another 5. So we have 10 cars. So if the car is broken, spoiled, stolen, or accident, what you do? You just sell the car and you buy a new one. But for life insurance, we only have one life, one body. We only have one body. Yet we take the car for service, twice a year. We wash the car every week, inside, the outside. We give it a good paint job when it's showing a few scratches here and there. We do so much, but our own lives, we hardly do anything, And in a car, it could be a German technology or a Japanese at the high end, and this is made by God, So you really have to take care of yourself really well. We need to create a nation of healthy and more health conscious, because once your problem starts, it's never ending. So the first best investment in life is not a house or anything, it's taking care of your body, getting up early, doing the exercise if you need, watching your diet. That's very, very important. And when that fails, that's when we come in, when you need to go and see a doctor and you have your small treatments, your outpatients. Hopefully you can manage that, but when it becomes more serious, then you need some kind of mechanism to help you finance these costs. Traditionally, it has been life insurance, medical insurance policy has been the traditional way to do it, but the products, the premiums for medical insurance is not guaranteed in Malaysia or most countries. Almost every country around the world.
Changes.
So it will increase as you get older. It will increase, and it will come to a stage you can't afford it anymore. It's very clear. Once you start to get older and older, you'll come a stage when it is too expensive. So really, you need to you need to consider other options. And life engineering is offering a different concept from the conventional life insurance company, but it's not so different because life engineering's version of the community sharing the bills of unfortunate people is a concept of takaful. Malaysia promotes extensively the concept of takaful, and there's various versions in Malaysia. I would say a peer-to-peer. The principles works. I'm not claiming it to be Sharia compliant or takaful, but it works very similarly where the community shares. And in this concept, actually, there's no wakalah fee. In a normal takaful concept, the operators take a fee for doing it. Right. In life engineering case, there isn't a fee you take.
We were purely
so
at a cost.
It's even better than I would say than that. But that's how life engineering works. But obviously there is risk still. People get sick. It might be a small bill. It might be a medium bill, or God forbid, it might be big bills. And where a reinsurer will come is to help. Traditionally, it's been insurance companies, but here again, it could be in a peer-to-peer concept where we will help. Take away some of the burdens of the fluctuations, the big claims that come in. So we will help the fund manage itself and last the higher, the initial risky period when the numbers are not so big, where the fluctuations even bigger. That's one part we will play. We will play a role. We are already doing. And the second part is that we will bring in some time-tested principles that insurance companies have used in the past, in risk selection, risk management, putting guidelines and conditions. We have a lot of experience in that, and all the best key and most important ones we have already brought in many of them, and we'll continue to do that to make sure that life engineering runs in a very professional way.
And thank you, Ravinder, from explaining. I think just to recap, I mean, it is reassuring that at least we have a professional firm that coming in to help us from two fronts. One is, of course, that like what Mr. Ravinder talked about just now, is because we even though we kept maximum at 50 ringgit a month, things happens up and down in every month as the time goes by. And what they do is to help us to manage and fund us on the front part of it in terms of the risk, so that all the sharers can be comfortable to come and join us. And then as we go by, especially in the early state, like what Mr. Ravinder said, that they will help to assure that this sharing community continue to grow. The second thing is basically the sharing the knowledge of managing this part of it. I mean, in terms of how do we build the community in the right way, getting it going forward to grow. We in the insurance terms they call it sort of a selection process, but for us it's more how do we ensure the community is getting the right joiners, people who join together, having the right mindset going forward. So I think it's so good, and I think I'm actually we are so glad to have Ravinder come in on, like I say, on his birthday, and as well as just share with us what Hannover as well as himself personally in terms of how we are making sure this thing can grow robustly. Okay, maybe we're moving a little bit to Doctor in terms of talk about. I think we just now talk about Ravinder talk about we have the assets and then we don't take care of it. And then one thing is, of course, when we need to take care of it in terms of life engineering law, we share the cost. And then more important thing is that how we take care of it before it goes to the hospital, right? And maybe we take this opportunity to ask doctor about some health tips and what you should do, rather than put yourself on the chopping table to be cut open.
Thank you, Kim. Well, the body is not actually meant to get sick. We are not expected to get sick. Just that civilization itself has given us so comfortable life today. With so many tools and technology today, we are becoming less and less active. And we are trying to consume foods that are processed, preserved, and all kind of flavoring. And we don't know how much of damage this artificial way of processing, artificial preservatives and artificial flavorings are doing to our bodies. Because we are seeing that some of us are baby boomers. I'm considered a baby boomer. If you look at us, I'm 60 plus, I'm 68, nearing 70.
We should be all baby boomers, right? Even though we are all add up into hundreds, but yeah.
So if you look at my age of people, everything is rising. Cancer is rising, infection is going up, all kind of problems are going up.
Right.
So what can be the reason? Is it the food or the processing and the preservatives and the flavoring in the food? Every restaurant adds Ajinomoto to increase the flavor. And I believe that this could be part of the reason. So we need to look more into these reasons why it is causing, why we are becoming a sicker community than ever before. Secondly, we have televisions, mobile phones and all kind of devices, and we share happiness and more sad stories all over the world.
Right.
With the sharing of the sad stories, our body is seeing, like killing all over the world. Before we don't see. Now you see blood dripping in your mobile phones. That makes us sad. That makes us frightened. And this fright and fear is changing our body's chemistry. And this chemistry could be affecting our cells and making us sick.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. If you see a doctor called as Lisa Rinkin, a doctor called Lisa Rinkin, she says 90% of our illnesses are caused by the mind and food.
Yep.
And 10% is caused by infection and accidents, trauma.
This is wow. Okay.
So 90% of our illnesses are caused by the mind and the food. So how do we change this now? Like what you said earlier, is taking care of what he also said, asset. The one asset, the only asset that we have, we have to really take care. We cannot be casual about it, because if you look at 50 years ago or 40 years ago, a person who is resting and growing fat and not working hard is luxurious. Today is not. It's the other way around. The guy who goes to the gym, he's got a personal trainer, he keeps his body fit, he also goes to the yoga gym, keeps his mind fit, and he is more successful.
Right.
It's completely the other way around, because we have seen bloating of diseases as we bloat our bodies.
Yeah.
This has become a huge challenge to
now people are getting sick younger as well, right? Because I think because of we spend a lot of time on the computer, we are more in activity, less activities, So I think it's interesting that 90% of problem caused by mind. I don't know what happened to mind and the food. Yeah. Okay. I mean, feel free to ask questions. We got Ravinder here. We got Doctor. Feel free to ask the questions. At least ask, what is life engineering? A good question. I think for those people who just joined, I mean, we are basically a platform whereby we call it sharers, basically our members. We join together to share the inpatient. Inpatient means your hospitalisation cost. So I'll just repeat a little bit, is that if, for example, if we have 10,000 sharers, and then if you have 100,000 medical bill for that particular month, 100,000 shared among the 10,000 members, only 10 ringgit per person. So basically, it's a very effective way of, and then it's also an alternative way of addressing a medical cost, besides the medical card. So we have these questions. How does, I guess this question is addressed to Mr. Ravinder. I think he explains how does Hannover help life engineering to manage the risk. Mr. Ravinder, would you want to just maybe help to reiterate what you mentioned just now?
Yes. Even though peer-to-peer is not a traditional life insurance company, it works in a comparable way. What it does is it has a group of members that join. So the first risk selection is to ensure the right group of members are in the pool. That's why life engineering starts off with a group of members from the age of 8 to 40.
Right.
This is a good mix. This is a good mix of members to start the scheme, because this group of members are playing a key role in the community. They understand they're at the early stage to get good habits,
right.
And they are still a few years away from when the real problems happen. So we start with this group and bring in the good behavior,
right.
And they are prepared to face the later years of their life. So the first point is the selection of members and to get the balance of the pool correct. And then we all know that unexpected events happen, and the peak claims can also come in. That's where insurance and reinsurance companies help to reduce the impact of this. So we support life engineering with the peak risks. So if you're faced with big claims, this will be managed by the reinsurance company. That means that the members will not need to share quite a sizable of these big claims. So we will keep the sharing at a prudent level, and this is more important at the early stages while life engineering builds up the portfolio.
Yeah. So I hope that one answer your questions. But anyway, if you still not quite understand, it's fine. You can look back at this video again. Or we have this Google form on top. We pin the comment on top. That you can just click and leave your contact, and then we get in touch with you. I mean, I encourage you all to do that. There's just so easier way for us to get back to you. So Alvin said that it is related to insurance. We are basically we are not an insurance. We are an alternative solutions to the rising medical costs that we talk about. We know that just now Mr. Ravinder talked about that if today the cancer cost is costing you 100,000, in 10 years time it will cost you 400,000. Basically every 5 years it will double. So it's actually a mind-boggling number if you come to look at it. And then and worse, that just now we just talk about it. We don't invest in taking care of our best asset in the world, and so we get sick earlier, younger. We get more problem because we got more diagnostic tests to find out more things wrong with the body. We got less activities because of all the computer, all the handphone that we have. Jajit Singh talk about I'm also listening. So good. Thank you. It's so good to see that people are supporting us. I urge you. We have another about 20 minutes left for the session, but I urge you to continue to share this FB Live. Again, take a 10-second pause, click the share, tag your friends, share this video out so that more people will know about this. We need your help. We need your help to share this news. But at the same time, I'm sure this is very new to some of you. Feel free to fill up the Google form that we have pinned on the top of the comment line. Leave your contact. We'll get back to you. It's no buying and selling. Just basically, we can get in touch with you with any questions that you have. Okay, Mr. Ravinder, you have anything else?
Yes, I have something else to add. Life engineering peer-to-peer concept is comparable to an insurance, but it is not insurance. I would say when it comes to medical insurance, and if you are unlucky and need to visit a hospital, it actually, in one hand, is a blessing, but on another hand, it is not. Because one of the first questions you get asked when you go into a hospital is, do you have medical insurance? And the moment you say yes, that's the downfall. Because traditionally we have seen medical bills that are paid by insurance, by medical insurance policies, are 30 to 60% higher for the same procedures than those who the customer is paying. So really, this is part of the problem that is creating this 15% inflation. So really, we need to find another solution. While medical insurance is there and is helping many people, it's also the downfall of the industry. Yeah, and also the part about the cashless, which is a common practice in insurance industries in many countries, including Malaysia, is really a very, very bad
practice.
Cashless
means the insurance company pay everything, you don't have to pay a single cent. That is an industry word, so for those people who do not understand. Feel free to ask questions, because trust me, we have the two giants here. Some of the terms they talk about, it took me a while to understand as well. So if you don't quite understand, please feel free to talk about. But more importantly, is people ask, does this really work? And then I am happy and feel a bit sorry to tell you that actually we had an admission case happen last month. So maybe, doctor, you want to talk about the process of one particular lady sharer that has gone through a process. So you will actually see, for our sharers, you will actually see a crowd sharing happen this month. Maybe, doctor, you can talk through the whole process of how this sharer has approached us during her need and her help.
Well, before I go to that, I want to emphasize on what Ravinder said about the pricing of insured patients and cash-paying patients. There is one clinic in Petaling Jaya that treats cataract for about 2,500 ringgit if it is paid cash. If it is paid by the insurer, it's about 3,500 and above.
Wow.
If the same procedure is done at another center, bigger center, then they want to charge 9,000 ringgit. I don't see.
What's the difference?
I don't see the logic. Some may say you're going to use a better lens, you're going to use not a cheaper lens. Yeah, but the insurer is not going to pay for the lens. I don't know whether the centers are using an expensive lens and billing it as if it is a cheaper lens. I don't know whether it's.
But it wouldn't cause a disparity between 2,500 and 8,000, 9,000, right?
Crazy.
So it is there in the industry, and it is a what shall I say, a publicly known secret that if you carry a medical card, like one of my friends who came from the US, he had some urinary stones and he had pain. So the urologist on the phone on the other side, he was at home, he asked the staff, he got medical card. And this guy heard it, He said, I don't want to see a doctor who wants to talk to me about medical card. You should treat me and not my medical card. And he said, it's okay, I don't need to be treated. I'll go back to the US.
Yeah.
I come from New Jersey. I will go back to Edison, my town, and get treated. It's not an emergency anymore.
Yeah, in fact, it's ironic. I think like this happened to many people. I'm sure all the people who are watching now know that usually that's what they ask you whether you have a medical card or not. And then, in fact, last week we had this call whether you collect money first or you save the patient first. And then I just want to thank our supporter. We got Bunhan say yo. So we acknowledge you. And then I think we got Housing talk about a good thumbs up for transparency of pricing. Good. We got Donnie on the comment talk about agree with Mr. Ravinder. We need the transparency of the pricing of the hospital. In China, price list menu is published openly in the lobby of the hospital. I mean, it's amazing that for China. I mean, China now has moved so advanced and it's become so much more transparent. Even though that sometimes we think that China can be quite opaque in terms of country. Yeah. So Doctor, maybe we come back to talk about the latest missions that we have happened, and then I think this truly shows that how the model will work and how it helps to solve a financial situation for a particular person.
Well, before I go to that, I also want to emphasize something on what Donnie said. The Ministry of Health in Malaysia has also said to all hospitals they must publish the rates and display it in the lobby. Actually, it is a request. It's not a law.
Request.
It is a request by the Minister of Health and the Ministry of Health. Even our previous Minister of Health has requested from those days that you must publish the rates.
I don't think I can ever see that.
And don't give surprises to people,
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you look at in Singapore, what happens in Singapore, you're going for a surgery, there will be a financial consultant who will sit with you and say, this is your consultation fees, this is your anesthetic fees, and this is your surgical fees.
Right.
They give you a breakdown and they tell you the bed charges, the first day what will be done and how much your charges you will incur. So everything is discussed and transparent. Upfront,
yeah.
Before you go for surgery, and whether you can afford it. If you can't afford it, they will say you can go to another hospital. But the hospital where I saw this happen was National University Hospital in Singapore, which is an excellent hospital.
Yep.
Now, coming back to this particular patient, this is a 23-year-old young lady who presented with lower abdominal pain in the abdomen.
Okay.
And the doctor had done an ultrasound, and he suspected her to have a strangulated ovarian cyst, which was measuring about 3.5 to 5 cm. And since it was strangulated, normally if it is a normal ovarian cyst, we would schedule the patient accordingly. But since they said it's strangulated,
Means like serious. Okay, it's twisted. Okay.
Twisted ovarian cyst. So we immediately allowed her to go for surgery. The total bill came to about 11,200. There were some ineligible expenses, like sometimes they want to use their own, they want to use, they buy a coffee from Starbucks, or they want an additional television, they want additional strip red. Those things are not covered by insurers or life engineering. So minus all those things, it came to about 11,200. That will be shared among the current sharers.
Right.
And it's a very small cost to her.
Right. So effectively, I mean, we by the time for those sharer, you know that every 24th of the month we crowd share the case. So on the 24th, which is another 3-4 days time, another 3 days time, we'll have this crowd share happen. And it shows that when we come to a crowd, even though a crowd is still small, which is what we need tonight, that everybody, so I will urge everybody, you get somebody, share this with somebody, sign up with us. If you are not sure about us, fill up the form so that we can get a contact. And even with a smaller group, we will pick this up in terms of addressing the cost. We have Hannover behind us in terms of helping us to manage the risk. We got Randy say prevention is the best policy. That's so true, Randy. I mean, thank you for bringing it up. Just say the biggest worry as you age is medical bills. I think there's a joke to say that somebody recover from the treatment and then they got a heart attack after they see the medical bills. I mean, this is, even though it's a joke, but I think sometimes it is very real, you know. And Randy said knowledge is the key to get healthy. You know,
Exactly.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Okay. So, Ravinder, anything you would like to add? I mean, it's good that there are people who are keen to watch these sessions, and then what would you like to urge people to do?
One more thing I want to say, common practice is that when you are admitted, you know, most of us would choose the single room. You know, we want a bit of privacy, but I don't know whether they are aware that when you go to a single room, instead of using a twin room or 4-bedroom, the same treatment, it's significantly more expensive. Yeah, for some reason, hospitals differentiate every cost, not only the room, to the room you stay. So sometimes, you know, if you are trying to get the best value for a particular treatment, it's better to stay in a bigger than a twin room, because there, in a way as well, when the doctor comes to see a few other patients, you are surrounded by emergency staff already. That's one, and you're not alone. And certainly you will find that the cost is significantly lower for the same treatment.
Yeah, I think this is actually something good to note. I mean, like, many of us would think that, I would like to have a privacy of our own room, but actually, when it's come to like what Ravinder has said, that, I mean, somehow statistically it has this bias that if you stay in a single room, a more expensive room, your bill proportionally get more expensive. It means if you stay in a nicer room, your bill is bigger. Not so much from the room, but holistically, entire bill is bigger. This is actually statistically proven. You know. Let's just say, what age group are you targeting? Oh, good question. So maybe we have missed that one out. Just like we said, one of the risk management that we started with is basically we start with an age group of between 8 to 40. I mean, this is an age group is a healthy. I mean, we want to build a community. We want to build a healthy community because we want to build a good foundation so that we can shoulder the rest of the community. Because this is a sharing program. This is not for making money. So if everybody, so what we have to do is to make sure the foundation is healthy, that we don't collapse by just targeting at anybody. So we start with the age from 8 to 40, and as the group goes bigger, then we'll consider expanding the age group. Feel free, guys. I think we are going to finishing up in another about 8 minutes time. But feel free to throw us some questions. I'm sure you have. Don't worry about the questions. Is technical, not technical. You don't understand some part of things that we say because we have a doctor, we have an insurance here. We have quite two more very complicated kind of industries. I mean, insurance, you know that usually come with very long forms. The doctor, sometimes I always like to joke, you know, the handwriting nobody can understand. But I mean, it's so nice to have two very experienced professionals coming on board, sitting with us, working with us together. So feel free to shoot the questions. And while we're waiting for your questions, please share this FB Live, because even after we close the FB Live, they can still click and then watch it again. Or please tag your friends so that there are more people who know about it. So if I can urge some of you to just do that now, press the share button, do it now, okay? And by the way, at the end of April, we'll organize a mini walkathon in KL. So whereby we're going to, part of the sort of the lifestyle we talk about, we're going to encourage either sharer, member or non-member to come and join. I have a very healthy Sunday. This is going to be on April 29th. Have a very healthy weekend where people come together, put down a handphone, put down a computer, get yourself, spend more time with the family, and then enjoy the life, and then having a walkathon together. So this just watch our space, visit our website or our Facebook, follow our Facebook. Then you get notified for that. So judges say, so how much does each person pay? Okay, the concept works this way: is that just now I give the example of 100,000 divided by 10,000 becomes 10 ringgit. The maximum you have to share is 50 ringgit a month. So if I ask, if for example, go back to the example of 10,000 sharers, if that month their bill is 300,000, then 300,000 divided by 10,000, everybody pays 30 ringgit. So let me ask a question: if nobody falls sick, how much do you pay for that month? So let me see if we can. Okay, so for those people who can get the answer, just click and say if there's nobody fall sick for that month, how much does each of the 10,000 person have to pay? Then let me see if we get any answer or not. Okay, so the quick answer, in the interest of time, the quick answer is basically nothing. So how much you have to pay? The long answer is that you pay between 0 to 50. Okay. So any as we draw to a close, while waiting for more questions coming in, any advice or parting words that Mr. Ravinder and Dr. Kama would like to give? Maybe you start with Ravinder.
I see Emily got the answer right. She said no need to pay.
Oh yes, Emily, good. Thank you. Emily is our supporter.
So she got it right. I would say, life engineering is a very noble cause. It tries to make more and more people able to use private hospital. But the catch is that you need to look after yourself and be conscious of certain bad practices that have developed. Going for more treatment is not a good thing. Over treatment is bad. You should have an inquisitive mind and ask the doctor to explain procedures or treatments that he or she wants to give you. And if you don't feel comfortable, don't worry. Don't hesitate to go for second opinion. Be certain. Have a good peace of mind for any treatment that you need to face. Don't just accept the first thing that you are told. Think about it. Most of the time you have the ability to think. Of course there are emergency cases and that's different, but not every case is an emergency case. So please start to be open to question and to get second opinion. At the same time also play a bigger part to take care of yourselves, your health, your diet, and try to bring in all the good practices, because these will only help you at the later part of life, when all the hated problems start to come in.
Yeah, I think there are a few very, very good points I repeated, and then we just said one is definitely prevention. One is prevention that you definitely have to do. That sometimes while we try to address the medical cost, prevention is the best thing. Yeah, doctor. Any sort of parting words or summaries? In fact, let me just handle this question before I come to the doctor. What is the max number of people who can share this? I hope I understand the question correctly. Basically, let me just answer this way: is that there's no fixed amount of expenses you can share. Then whoever that's active in the community will share this medical cost, right? So important is that people tell me, how come typically a medical card would have a limit? For us is that we try to have people who live healthily. So because indirectly your medical expenses will come down. But what we do is that nobody wants to share a huge medical bill, because it's unfortunate that they are fall sick and they end up having to incur. So that technically we have no limit on it. But for us is that you would not want to share high amount, because this is not something like you win the lottery, that this is something that the bigger the amount, that means the more treatment your body has to subject to. And then just even if the body has to go through 100,000, 200,000 treatment, not even talk about unlimited, even 100,000, 200 treatment is already a very, very major operations. Doc, anything to add?
Yeah, I want to say something about food. I think that using today's technology, you can Google and find out what kind of a lifestyle you should lead, especially when it comes to eating habits. And definitely today we know that plant food save lives. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of information that North America, where people eat a lot of meat, there is a higher incidence of cancer of the breast, cancer of the colon, and cancer of the prostate. these three are very high among people who eat a lot of meat. And people who eat more vegetable and fruits are definitely less prone to these diseases. And World Health Organization also has sent out a bulletin that those who eat processed meat like sausages, burgers, they are potential poison. They are carcinogenic. That means they promote cancer cells.
Oh, okay.
So I think that there was one Andy, I think he said, knowledge. Use the technology today properly. Learn from the internet. There's so much available on the internet. And keep healthy. That's the only way we can reduce our medical bills. And be healthy, to remain healthy.
There's a question on Tokyo Marine. Shall I answer
Yeah.
that?
You want to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll let Ravinder answer the Tokyo
Yeah.
Marine questions.
First of all, as a reinsurer in Malaysia, we have a relationship with all the life companies in Malaysia. In this project, we work with Tokyo Marine. Tokyo Marine has been in Malaysia now for almost 70 years.
Yes.
It's a very established insurance company in Malaysia. It's the oldest and largest insurance company in Japan. And Japan is the second biggest insurance market in the world. So it's a significant player worldwide. Our partner in this project is Tokyo Marine. We've had a relationship with Tokyo Marine in Malaysia since 2007, so it's over 10 years now. So Tokyo Marine supports here. Tokyo Marine has a life insurance license. We are a reinsurer. So when reinsurer supports organization like Life Engineering, we need a partner who has the license to work. So we've met the CEO of Tokyo Marine Life many times. Mr. Toy is a supporter of this peer-to-peer cost sharing. So we are really grateful to work. So the role that Tokyo Marine plays is similar to the role that a reinsurer plays, where we help in the risk management aspects of risk selection, the questioning, the questions that a consumer needs to answer before they join the scheme, and also the protection of the big claims or multiple claims that come over than what is expected. So the same role.
Yeah. So Daniel, in a simple way, and together with the Mrs. said, basically Tokyo Marine, we need to work with an insurer and the reinsurer to manage a risk. So basically work as a team collectively to help us manage a risk. That's one angle of it. Second angle of it is that, remember, if you look at average of, our maximum is only 50 ringgit a month. And then compared to an average medical card that's available out there in the market. For me, my age is too old. I can't even qualify for our own program that me and Gideon founded, because both of us are above the 40 years old. But average medical card will run for maybe 150 to what I pay is 400 a month. So if you only share about 50 ringgit, you potentially will save about 100 to about 300 ringgit that you can. And what you can do is basically free up the resources to do the other protection or investment you have. So on a second angle, besides the risk management that we team up with Tokyo Marine, is that we actually are the corporate agent. We allow you to invest in the right product, in basically either the life insurance product or endowment, education, so on and so forth. But what more importantly is that for us, a lot of people say that you're so young, what makes you credible is that we have two of the most established company working with us. That itself speaks volume. You know, we have Hannover, the third largest reinsurers, the top 3 reinsurers in the world. We have the largest insurer in Japan, of which Japan is the second largest insurance market, to work with us. I mean, with that too, basically it gives a very good support in terms of, and belief in terms of us for Life Engineering, in terms of our model. So with that, I hope more of you will get more confidence, join us, share with us, and then coming together. This is my sister. Besides over consuming all sort of meat, is hair dye another cause of cancer. That's why my hair is white. I have not dyed my hair yet.
I'm 68 and my hair is also not dyed.
Wow,
So,
fantastic,
yeah.
doctor. I wish I would be.
I think you have more black hair than I do.
My
doctor.
mother also has hair like this anyway. She's 85.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, hair dye is definitely a problem. It is very well known. All kind of dyes can cause cancers, or it can cause some kind of allergic reactions. You have to be extremely careful of using any chemical on the body, including the vape mat, including the the perfumes that we put in the car. What do you call that? The deodorants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those things
Yes.
affect our lungs. And
Air
affect our
freshener,
body.
yes.
Air fresheners. Yes.
Yeah.
All those things affect us.
I think those are all chemicals. Whether you put on the head, whether you inhale it, whether
Yeah.
you put it in your tummy through your
Anywhere,
food,
yeah.
or whether the animal eat it and then you
Yeah.
eat the animal.
Yeah.
This all indirectly or directly come into your
Yes.
body. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, there's a link. We're going to be wrapping up. There's a link there on the top of the comment. Basically, we pinned it so that it's right on the top of the comment. You can click, leave your name, a contact, so that you can ask us for further questions, or we can get in touch with you. I really urge you to do that, and please do give us the support. Share the FB Live. So it's 10 o'clock. It's actually 10:05. I want to thank Mr. Ravinder and Dr. Kama for coming, especially Mr. Ravinder, because we stole him from his birthday party for this, and then it's so nice. I mean, it just shows that how committed they are, both of them, being away at so late in the evening to share with all of you. And I hope in the future sessions we can come more. And thank you, Mr. Ravinder, and happy birthday once again.
Yes, thank you.
And then thank you, Dr. Kama.
I just want to make one small
Sure.
statement. See, 50 ringgit a month is less than 1 ringgit and 60 cents.
A day.
That is about a teh tarik in a decent stall, a decent shop.
It's
So for
actually
that
cheaper.
price, for that price, you're getting yourself covered and sharing with a community which is going to grow and which is going to share good things.
Yeah.
I think we need to focus on living healthy than the sickness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So start the day with joining us. I know it's not just getting yourself protected. Even though you're healthy, you actually shed other people's costs. You actually help others as well. Okay.
Small.
So with that, thank you so
you very
much
much.
for spending the hour with us. Thank you so much, and good night. Yeah. Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
doctor.
you.
Thank you,
Good
Ravinder.
night.